River Wonders is one of the most interesting zoos I've ever been to. A whole zoo based around the greatest rivers in the world, with some of the most unique animals and amazing theming. Another really good part about this zoo is the fact that it's all a linear path. So we'll start here and make our way all around the zoo and then get back to the entrance. Right at the start, you're met with a tunnel filled with information about the diverse range of species found in rivers. Since this zoo is in Singapore, it's so lush and green everywhere, which really immerses you into the river theming. The first habitat has some cool little freshwater fish, but it is also home to the Vonderdeckens hornbill. The female of this species have a black bill, whilst the males have a red bill, with a whitish cream-coloured tip. There are also violet taracos in this habitat, but I sadly didn't see any.
If we keep going down the path, there's a small tank for 3 species of cichlid, but next to them is the start of Africa. There are so many different species of freshwater fish here, but the most interesting is definitely this Nile bisher. Next to these tanks is a pretty big aviary for a bunch of Congo birds, like this red-fronted parrot and another species of hornbill, the crowned hornbill. If we keep going, we finally reach our first river-themed area, the Nile River. The Nile River is the longest river in the world, measuring 6,650 kilometers long and supports over 360 million people. There are only 2 species in this area, the Nile perch and the zebra tilapia. So let's continue over to the Ganges River. The Ganges River is India's largest river and is home to one of the coolest looking crocodilians, the Indian gharial. The Indian gharial is critically endangered, with there only being around 200 left in the wild due to large-scale sand mining, which can leave rivers to dry up.
Next to the gharials is the Mary River, and a tank for a fish which has been alive since the dinosaurs, the Australian lungfish. These fish are so weird, like they have both lungs and gills, but next to them is another air-breathing fish, the mud skipper. I love these guys. I've seen them twice now and they're just so funny. Unlike lungfish, they don't have lungs, but they actually absorb oxygen through their skin and the lining of their mouths and throats. But just like, look at these guys. Like, they're just so goofy. Like, just look at them. Just admire them. They're just so beautiful. These fish also burrow deep underground to hide from predators and to guard their eggs. Another little pond here for some banded archerfish, which actually shoot water out of their mouths to kill bugs. But now let's continue down all the way to the Mekong River. The first habitat here is a really unique primate, the lion-tailed macaque. They get their name because the males have a tail tuft which resembles that of a lion's tail. But I personally think they should have been called the lion-maned macaque instead, because just look at them. Like, I think that's a way better name. But yeah, this guy shares a habitat with the pig-nosed turtle as well as the Indian pond turtle. Just ahead of this habitat is a huge freshwater tank for one of the largest species of catfish in the world, the Mekong giant catfish, as well as giant freshwater stingrays. There are also a lot of other species of fish in here, like this Asian arowana. Unlike other species of catfish, Mekong giant catfish lose their whisker-like barbels around their mouth when they reach adulthood, which makes them not really look like traditional catfish. We have now reached what is supposed to be the Yangtze River, but sadly, when I was here, it was getting reworked. But we still have some cool species to see, like this Philippine sailfin lizard and this Chinese highfin loach. But after these guys, there's a pretty big tank for another prehistoric fish, the sturgeon. Sturgeons have been alive for over 200 million years, but are now sadly critically endangered due to overharvesting of their eggs, as sturgeon caviar is extremely valuable, usually around $10,000 USD per kilogram. Now the next area in this zoo is the Pavilion Capital Giant Panda Forest, a huge fully indoor exhibit with both giant and red pandas. This exhibit spans a whopping 1,500 square meters with some of the most lush habitats and beautiful landscaping I've ever seen in a fully indoor exhibit. So let's get started with the first habitat for giant pandas. Giant pandas are actually the only fully herbivorous species of bear in the whole world, with bamboo making up 99% of their diet. But next to this habitat is the first red panda. Red pandas were actually discovered before giant pandas, and they're not related in any way. Red pandas are actually closer related to raccoons. Now, if we keep walking down, we'll see the giant panda's outdoor habitat. This is just like so lush. Like, look at the landscaping in this whole area. It's just so amazing. Sadly, I didn't see any pandas out here, but we can keep going to the last of the giant panda habitats. I'm pretty sure they swap the pandas around weekly so that they have a new place to explore, so that's pretty cool. But now if we keep walking, we'll reach the exit of the panda pavilion and onto this giant wooden deck. This deck turns into a super long bridge that actually takes you across the river that separates the two halves of this zoo. The entire second half of this zoo is fully dedicated to the Amazon rainforest, which means we'll have some of the coolest and weirdest animals in the world, like this green anaconda here. Right beside the green anaconda is a mixed habitat with 3 species of monkeys: cotton-top tamarin, white-lipped tamarin, and black-penciled marmoset. Azores agouti is also in this habitat. Tamarins are just like so fun to watch. They're some of the smallest monkeys in the world, and they're only found in the Amazon. I'm surprised these guys survive in the Amazon when there's stuff like jaguars running around. Further down the path is a small pond for some silver arowana. Silver arowanas actually leap out of the water to catch prey from overhanging branches. But right next to these guys is Amazonia Encounters. Amazonia Encounters is a really unique walkthrough exhibit with some really cool species in here. The theming in here is so good. It really helps as the zoo is literally set inside of a jungle. The first species we can see is Linnaeus's two-toed sloth, but we'll see more of him in a minute. On these branches are helmeted curassow, but right underneath them is a pair of the largest rodent in the whole world, the capybara. These two are just eating some lunch right now, but we'll get to see a baby one in just a moment. Some other species in this exhibit include yellow-footed tortoise, red-footed tortoise, ringed teal, scarlet ibis, and greater curassow. But now, just before we leave, we'll be able to get a much better view of the Linnaeus's two-toed sloth. Sloths spend most of their lives fully suspended upside down. So, to accommodate this really interesting lifestyle choice, the placements of their internal organs, like their liver, their spleen, and their heart, are different from most other mammals. Even their hair grows in a different direction due to them living upside down. Now, after we exit this exhibit, to the right is a connected indoor habitat for capybara, with some baby capybaras too. Capybara is the largest rodent in the world, being closely related to guinea pigs. A big difference between them though is the fact that capybaras are semi-aquatic, which is really unique for a rodent. Now, finally, let's move on to the Amazon River Quest. Amazon River Quest is an awesome boat ride that takes you past the Amazon River's coolest animals. Now, for a zoo boat ride, it is a bit fast, so I won't be able to go into full detail about a lot of the animals, but with that said, let's begin. This boat ride features around 15 species, not all native to the Amazon, and it goes for around 7 minutes. The first species to the left is the collared peccary. Despite looking like it, peccaries actually aren't pigs, and they're part of their own separate family. Now, over here, also to the left, we have the tufted capuchin monkey. A bit further down is another monkey, the brown-headed spider monkey. Spider monkeys use their tails as basically a 5th limb, as they don't have thumbs. Their prehensile tails can grow up to 88 centimeters long. Now, to the left is an extremely unique species, but I'll save that one for later. The next species, hiding way off in the back, is a guanaco. Guanacos are actually not native to the Amazon, but are native to Argentina, and are closely related to llamas and alpacas. Now, as we go down this drop, we'll be able to see an extremely unique rodent, the Patagonian mara. These large, long-legged rodents can run up to 60 kilometers an hour, and also live in Argentina. Right beside the maras are Brazilian tapirs. Tapirs are horses and rhinos' closest relatives, though none of them look alike at all. They use their trunk-like snouts as a built-in snorkel to allow them to breathe while swimming in the river. Just ahead is a familiar face, the cotton-top tamarin. So let's not waste our time with this guy and continue into this cave, which takes you to the largest cat in the Americas, the jaguar. These felines are set for any terrain. They can climb trees, run up to 80 kilometers an hour, and are even semi-aquatic. Now, after the cats, to our right, you can see the black howler monkey. Howler monkeys have the loudest call out of any land animal, at over 140 decibels, and can be heard at over 5 kilometers away.
Just ahead of those monkeys are American flamingos. Flamingos eat fully upside down and use their curved beaks to scoop up tiny shrimp and plants. To our right is the really unique species that I was saving for later, the giant anteater. Giant anteaters have 60 centimeter long tongues that they use to slurp up ants. Giant anteaters eat around 30,000 ants in a day and use their giant 10 centimeter long claws to pry open termite mounds. Now, after the giant anteaters, we reach this nice little calm aviary for scarlet and white ibis. And then, that's the end of the Amazon River quest. Now, after we get out of our boat, if we keep going back down the deck, we'll see a pond for platinum alligator gar, blackfin parku, and the smallest crocodilian in the entire world, the Cuvier's dwarf caiman. There's actually quite a big habitat for them. But now finally, we are onto our last themed area of the zoo, the Amazonian flooded forest. Every year, from December until May, the Amazon rainforest floods and becomes a sprawling maze of submerged trees which drop fruits and seeds into the water for the fish to eat, which then becomes food for the river dolphins. The first thing you see when you enter is an underwater tunnel for a species that we'll see more of soon. But if we walk through this tunnel, we reach another tank for the Abba Abba knifefish and the blue discus. Now, since we've already seen the knifefish today, we'll go to the tank right next to them, which is a really rare and really weird species of frog, the Titicaca frog. These frogs are the largest fully aquatic species of frog in the whole world and are only found in Lake Titicaca. The wrinkles on their skin increase surface area, so they're able to absorb oxygen directly from the water without ever needing to go to the surface. Just ahead of these frogs is a mixed tank for quite a few species of freshwater fish. But right next to these fish, we've got something really cool, electric eels. Electric eels are able to produce an electric shock of up to 860 volts of electricity. Electric eels actually aren't eels and are actually a species of knifefish. But finally, if we keep going forward, we will see the largest freshwater aquarium in the entire world. This is genuinely like nothing I've ever seen before. This is home to so many species of fish, including but not limited to red-tailed catfish, blackfin parku, Atlantic tarpon, Paraiba catfish, and an insanely unique elephant relative, the Antillean manatee. Now, Antillean manatees are actually not found in the Amazon, but are instead found in tropical and subtropical coastal areas like Mexico, Central America, and northeastern Brazil. These sea cows get to share a habitat with one of the world's largest freshwater fish, Arapaima. These giant fish reach up to 3 meters long and 200 kilograms. These fish actually breathe air by using a modified swim bladder as a lung, which makes it so they have to surface every 5 to 20 minutes to swallow air. Upstairs, we'll be able to see this freshwater stingray pond, which is right in front of the final habitat in this zoo, for the giant river otters. This is what that underwater tunnel was for. I told you we would get back to it. This is such a cool experience having giant otters swim over you. They're so cute even though they're the largest otter in the entire world and the apex predator in South America's freshwater habitats. These little dudes feast on piranhas, anacondas, and even sometimes caiman. You can tell specific giant otters apart by the white markings on their neck. Each otter's pattern is slightly different. And now finally, that is the end of River Wonders. Thank you for watching my first video on my new channel, and maybe consider subscribing to not miss the next zoo tour. Also, I'm going to start a new thing. Every video, I will list all the new species to this channel. But since this is the first video, I guess I have to list every single animal. So here you go. There's a list of every single animal that we saw today.